Welcome, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are back with more Dwarf Fortress. This is episode 5 of my 4th season of the game. That's right, I've got 3 previous. All of them are linked down in the description, including this one. So if you need to get caught up, or if you finish and you want to watch more, it's all below for you. And the game itself is down there too, so pick it up on Steam. Of course, the free version's available. It's out there, but it's not going to have all the nice bells and whistles that they've been putting into the Steam version. At least I don't think it does. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. Are the developers, are they actually keeping up with the free version still? I don't know, but either way, this is the version we're playing with here on Steam, and so far it's been a blast. I'm really enjoying getting back into the game after many months of not playing, but it is such a deep game. I never really fully had it mastered. There were still certain aspects of it, which would stump me or I would always fail at. For instance, aquifers are a real challenge typically. Those are just pockets of water buried under the ground as opposed to the nice surface water. But speaking of water, that's right, in the last one, we managed, to my shock, to actually get the cistern filled. There it is. And if we go to this level, yep. I'm actually going to unpause it to let the dwarves work. But yeah, so I was worried this room was going to get flooded out. I was also real super nervous that the dwarf who was mining it would get drowned, but we managed to get it filled up. I tested it. The floodgate's currently closed, but when our little floodgate here is open, it does not pour over the surface. So we've got this nice little area. In fact, while they're putting stuff in over here next door, this is going to be our hospital, by the way. We've got a few things we need for it still, which we'll get to, but let's do something fun. I'm going to pause it real quick because I actually want to go to the surface, I think. Let's see. We might not have needed to go to the surface. What I want to do is go to the places button. And yeah, we have 2 fishing zones established already, but they're on the surface. They're like over by the river. So any dwarves we have assigned to this will have to walk far, potentially risking themselves. So let's remove these fishing zones permanently. And then we're going to set up a fishing zone on our own little cistern below ground. So let's go back. There's 2 of them. Go to the magnifying, hit that. All right, with my hotkey, I'm going to return to this level. Now we'll add another place zone. The fishing is right here. And I think we want it like partially over the water too, like that. Except, boom. I hope they can get fish from this spot. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Another thing which might not be a bad idea is let's set this to a 4. We're going to do a little mining here at this level. No reason we can't develop it a bit more down here, but let's set up a little room, just a 7x7, and this can be like the fish dissection area. So if they are able to successfully catch fish, they can just boop, plop it right next door, and yeah, they'll be able to dissect it and they can deliver it right up here to the cooks. But hey, check it out. We've got some migrants. Let's go to it. I don't think we know exactly how many yet, but let's look at our population. There's a total of 21 over here, so I'm actually really interested in the dwarves that we get. Yeah, I really need to play around more with the creatures and the citizens tab so I can filter this, but is this one I want as profession maybe? I should filter it by profession. I'd really like to filter it by the newest members, which, I don't know, it sounds funny, but either way, yeah. So let's give it a couple moments because they don't all come in one big group. They kind of stagger in 1 or 2 at a time. Sometimes they even bring animals, so we'll see what the population gets to. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that notification was a little bit older than I thought because the population remains a steady 21. So, the migrants, we could have just got like 2 or 3. That's why, oh man, I got to start paying better attention here. In the old days, there were outside mods that you could use to keep track of your dwarves and assign them duties. And it would literally bring up like a spreadsheet, outside of the game, a literal spreadsheet. And you could filter it for all kinds of stuff. So I'm more used to that than like looking at the labor or like this screen here. So I just have to puzzle it out, But this is good too. I'm actually just realizing I can filter by happiness levels too. Yeah, that'll be helpful in a little while because we're starting to get some unhappy dwarves, and we don't want that. Things can spiral out of control, but yeah. So let's stay focused here. And I noticed if we go back to labor under gym cutters, no, it wasn't gym cutters, it was orderlies. We actually have another accomplished wound dresser, and they're labeled as a surgeon. So I'm going to immediately place them as bolt doctors. That's totally cool with me. This is what I was doing, just kind of going through. This is my best way currently of figuring out, like, if we got new people, is just seeing if, there's people with certain skills that don't have jobs yet. We do have one Fisher dwarf. I think that latest wave of migration was pretty small. I mean, I've seen migration waves where you get like equivalent to our current population in one go, 18 to 20 dwarves at once. But regardless, hey, if we only get, look at this. High Master Miner. No, now that's a new person. I mean, we've got two legendaries, but those are the people we started with. This guy was already here, but this dude is new. Okay, we'll have to go down to the 4th level to our blacksmith. I've really been conserving the hematite. Actually, I'm not sure if that's necessary. Let's go back to the stocks real quick and just take... Oh, we only have 7. Yeah, for whatever reason, we're not really pumping out a lot of stuff. I thought I set up a work order. Yeah, there it is. You know what? I probably just struck a very small amount of hematite. I have to go searching for that in a moment, but let's equip our new miner with the pickaxe, because there's no guarantee that they actually came with one. So we go to weapons, iron, pickaxe, is that iron pick? There we go. That's what we want. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe I should use some of that other metal, but we'll save her for now. We haven't even actually got any of our dwarves trained up in military whatsoever, so let's actually think about that. We can take, we'll do our wood crafting shop here. I'm going to set up another couple of work orders, just temporary ones, but what I want are 2 specific pieces. The armor stand, we'll do, give me 20 of those. Maybe we'll do like 2 regiments of 10 or something. It's good to have a lot of these. And there's another one we want, which is the armor rack. No, that's the armor. What we want is the weapon rack. That's it. Right down there at the bottom. Cool. And we'll do 20. This is just a temporary order too. I'm not going to set it to be checked daily. I don't need that many of these. Actually, you know what? Eventually we will probably want that many, but they'll be for like the noble's room, so I'll make them out of gold or silver, some more illustrious metals, so that the nobility will be always hard to please a noble dwarf. That's true. Noble humans, they're one thing. Noble dwarves, that's a whole different animal. Okay, take a look at that. We've already got a dwarf standing around down here. I don't know if he's fishing or not, but he's just enjoying the pool of water. I'm so happy we got that to work. But all right, the hospital is looking good. Now, there's a couple things I'm not sure about. Let's go to our list of places real quick. Do I need to assign the doctors to the hospital? Where the heck is the hospital? Hold on, let me find it. Oh, it's this one right here with the little twisted snake. I don't know the name of that particular symbol. I know it's a very famous symbol. There we go. That's what we want. Do I need to assign dwarfs to this? I don't think so. I think the doctors will just gravitate to the hospital. That's what I was thinking about, because I'm not sure if it's got the stuff that it needs. See details. Maybe this. Oh, no. I was wrong. I can assign doctors and stuff. We'll put him, and this will be our surgeon. We'll make him the surgeon. Actually, let me go back into that. I don't like what I did there. How do we clear this? Oh, I think it's just one dwarf can fill one role. Okay, so we'll make him the, chief medical dwarf. This guy, actually, I think I want that reversed. I think... Okay, we'll go like this. Oops, not that. Screwing it up, but we'll get the hang of it, and we'll have the surgeon as that guy. No, I screwed it up again. I'm just switching the same guy back and forth. He is the talented surgeon. There we go. Okay, got that set. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, we can see the amount of thread, cloth, crutches. We need more crutches. Powders. Okay, I need more powder. Buckets is fine. And soap. That's what I always have a hard time getting. Let's increase the thread count and maybe the cloth too, because as our dwarves get more and more numerous here in the fort, we'll need more of this. So we need crutches. Yeah, let's pop down to the fourth one, because there is something else we need for the hospital too besides crutches, but let's get those knocked out. I'll just do a quick work order. Yeah, we'll assign a new one. Crutch. We only need a couple. We'll just do 5 more. That's okay. Like I said, it's good to have a couple extra. That's a temporary work order. That's done. Now, I mentioned previously we want something called traction benches. This is specifically for dwarves who, I guess, I don't know, for recovery or whatever. It's just for the hospital. I think 2 usually suffice. But to be honest, I've kind of forgotten. I think it's just gears and a table. Is there like a way we can look at this? I want to actually inspect like the ingredients needed for that, but I've kind of forgotten how to do that. Although if memory serves, yeah, we might. Oh, look. I don't think anybody's made any of these. Oh, no, they did. They've made a couple, 2 of 20 for sure. They haven't made any bone bolts. All right, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, for these, we want mechanisms. That's the stoneworker. Where's my mechanic? Bower. Where did I put the mechanic? Oh, there it is. That's right. It's the same. Oh, my God. All right. Either way, ignore that part. We are going to make some mechanisms just to make sure we got enough. Yeah, because if we don't have the mechanisms, those traction benches will just either sit there or they'll get canceled. And, of course, we need tables, too. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, our man here, the carpenter, has been keeping us in tables pretty good. So not to worry. We've got a lot of mining going on. Axdorf is visiting. That's cool. Maybe he'll want to stay with us. But speaking of staying, let's look down at this level. No, there it is. Still trying to get the hotkeys. I need a few more doors for the dwarves. There we go. Put that down. Let's use closest material. I don't quite have enough doors, I think. Well, maybe we do. All right, that's good. Every room has a bed and a door. I would like every room to have a chest and a cabinet and even like a statue. Would be kind of nice, too. And of course, for the nobility, as I mentioned, they've got rooms up here. Oh, my God. Hold on, I can figure out what level the nobility. I have to get used to my hotkeys a little bit better. Here we go. Yeah, I set these up as just rooms for nobility. There's currently a dwarf already sleeping in here, but he'll get kicked out once we actually get a noble dwarf. If it happens, not guaranteed. And I think we can ultimately refuse it too if we don't want them, but it's fun to have them. They are demanding though. Yeah, these nicer bedrooms will get claimed pretty quickly though. So we'll lay out a bunch more stuff in here like golden weapon racks as I kind of mentioned. All right, people are working. I think all the armor stands are finished. Let's go up to the surface. So this is something a commenter recently reminded me of, but there's no downside to permanently living underground except one. Your dwarves can become cave adapted, I think is what it's called, which is fine for dwarves except if they need to go to the surface for any reason. And it's pretty rare that they do need to go to the surface unless there's an attack. And what happens if they come up here, they have that cave adaptation, they're like blinded by the sun, they get nauseous and stuff when they're on the surface. And that's not great for a combat dwarf. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our combat dwarves, specifically the military dwarves that are assigned to it, they're going to be on a regiment of training. I usually do mine like 1 month they'll train, then they'll have 1 month off, then the next month they train again, and so on, like all year round. But they're going to train on the surface. So every other month, they're going to be forced to come to the surface. And if they start to get that cave adaptation, this will break it for just the military dwarves, like I said. So, yeah, the first thing we have to do is pick a spot up here. It's pretty open. Like I said, I like a nice big surface that's, encompassed by the walls for this reason. So let's set up our first little squad over here. I want to give them plenty of room because it's like 10 to 12 dwarfs per squad, I think. But the first step is to lay one of the furniture or weapon racks. It doesn't actually matter. Oh, it's military. Yeah. What we're doing now is essentially laying one of these as like a meeting point for the regiment. So if we do this correctly, I think, yeah, we'll just put it like right here. That's fine with me. Okay, and we'll let them lay that. We should be able to click it, and we'll see. We'll go from there, because it's been a while since I did anything with the military for real. But while we're... Whoa, what the hell was that? Oh, we just got a loud notification. Oh, it's happened. One of our craft dwarfs has been possessed, and he's taken over the craft dwarf's workshop. Okay. So this is something I knew would happen, but it hasn't happened up until now. I'm going to have to adjust the sound, too. That was really loud and startling. Yeah, we got a full-grown stray water buffalo. All right, anyway, let's go down here to the craft dwarf shop. So occasionally, your dwarfs will be overtaken by like this inspiration to craft something, and not just anything, but like a legendary artifact or weapon or whatever it happens to be. It could be a legendary sock, literally, just depending on which dwarf gets possessed and what they get possessed to make, because it's out of your control. Now the bad side is if you don't have the items they need, then they're going to eventually go insane. And if you don't fill their requests in enough time, they will start to go crazy. They could either, unalive themselves, as they say, to avoid the YouTube censors, or they could start murdering other dwarves too. So we really want to avoid this kind of thing. Let's see, but again, it's totally random. It's the bone carver too, which I honestly don't love. It would have been great if it was like the carpenter, because it would have probably been like wood and maybe a little bit of other materials, but... the bone carver, I don't know. Oh, and another facet of this, another aspect to this little possession, is he's not going to tell you exactly what he wants. He's possessed, so the dwarf is just like muttering. And this is what he says. The building has been claimed by Cog, hello, the bone carver, and he wants bones. If we unpause it, it should cycle through, right? Or, I think maybe all he wants is bones. Because normally if it was like a multi-material recipe, it would cycle through. And it would say bones, yes, and it'd be like cloth, please, or something like that. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Sometimes it is a little bit vaguer what they want. But okay. Yeah, problem is we haven't really been butchering anything. I don't think we have any bones. Stray alpaca skeleton. Well, there's bones right there. A bunch of them. It's the skeleton, though. How do I make bones out of that? Maybe hold on, let's go back there. Give him a little bit of time. Is he doing it? I can't tell. Man, it's been so long since I had to deal with this kind of thing. I don't think he is actually crafting right now. I think he's still expecting me to give him something. Let me play around with this a little bit more, because like I said, I might just have to pause it, and I'm not sure what I've got to do, but I'm going to try and figure it out before he goes nuts. All right, so what I've done is come to my Citizens tab here, and then if we go over to the Pets and Livestock, I have set up several of the kittens and even this rabbit here to be butchered, actually to be slaughtered, and now I've got, yeah, the butchery here, station set up to also butcher animals infinite, and stray kitten has been slaughtered. Okay, really trying to get some bones going. I guess the skeletons aren't going to count, because I think what those are just corpses that sat there, and let's prioritize that. Oh, actually that. Yeah, those are just animals that sat there, I think. and rotted away. There it goes. The butcher animal fell off there for a second. Let's do that. Okay, they're slaughtering the animals first. Let's let them accomplish that. Let's go back to F4. Yeah, he's still standing there saying bones, yes. So I think we just don't have the right bones. Full skeletons obviously are not what he wants. All right, so now we get the butcher animal. Let's put a priority there. Oops. Is anybody coming to do it? This dude's processing seeds. Everything's going pretty smooth down here. We've got lots of drink, lots of food. The farms are still being utilized. It's good to check them occasionally. Just make sure you got the right seeds for them and stuff. Nobody's butchering these animals. Let's go up. Okay, I don't see any of that, like cat corpses. I think they're all left down here. Maybe it's my issue with the labor. Let's go to labor. I think that butchering is set up under the hunting. Small animal dissection. I believe that's butchering. Yeah, so I've got 2 people. Let's assign the surgeon to do it too, because he probably doesn't have much other job. Because I'm pretty sure that's it. If I had a brand new work detail here, because I did look through this, there's nothing else related to butchering animals. Oh, there is. Oh, never mind. That's what I'm doing wrong. I just didn't see it. It's under farming butchery. Okay, so we're going to set that, to a specific job itself. That's fine. We'll do that. And I'm going to name it real quick. Whoopsie. Let's name it real quick. Okay, there we go. And by specializing this, we can force certain dwarves to do it, like, exclusively. So, actually, let's go back to hunters. Because the surgeon, that was an error. I don't want him hunting. I want him butchering. So let's come back and set him to butcher. Again, if he's got other jobs, he'll still do those as long as he's assigned to him properly and he's got the stuff he needs. But now we should see him come over and start to work here, hopefully. Yeah, butcher animals set, prioritize it. Kittens have been slaughtered left and right. Oh, he's milking. Click complete. Oh, why is nobody coming to butcher? Maybe I don't know. He could be drunk or asleep or something. Okay, well, I'll continue to monitor the situation here with the bones. And, we got to prioritize this. It's got to be done, though. I do not want this guy to go nuts. Oh, I did it. Look. So he left the station. Yeah. That's him right there. So he just left, and now he's returning. Yeah. Okay, so I just didn't have the right bones. We got a bunch of those kittens, but I guess their bones aren't big enough. So I went ahead and ordered the buffalo, the water buffalo that we had, which is a little unfortunate, but we do have several alpaca left. So we got baby alpacas. They're males, but that's fine. Hopefully we can get a female. Also, our chicks were hatched too, so I got several of those set to be slaughtered because we just don't want a whole bunch of animals running around. We will keep a nice little stockpile, or I should say herd or whatever, but all right, so let's go back. Yeah, and I also changed it. Originally, I had set the kitchen to prepare fine meals because our cook wasn't that experienced, but now they're set to make lavish meals, which will give, obviously, the dwarves a bit more happiness. Oh, you know what we need to do? I need to go in and assign these chicks, too. I thought that they would... Actually, let's go to the places. Pen pasture. I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. Okay, here it is. Yeah. I think we need to assign the chicks, which is a little bit annoying because I figure if they're born in a zone, they should auto assign themselves to that zone. But either way, because I just noticed them wandering. Otherwise, they'll just wander the hallways. But all right, let's see. Oh no. I think he's working. Yeah, I think he's muttering the name of the item. I thought he was requesting some other weird ingredient I'd never heard of, but no, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Shockingly, this was a really easy one. I just didn't have any bones. Sometimes they can be complicated. You'll need wood and leather and metals or whatever, but ultimately it's really fun if you can get it to work, because then you're going to end up with some sort of legendary item, and this is going to be made of bone. So I don't know. Again, it could be anything from well, we just find out. Oh my god, I'm sorry, that noise. Apologize for that, guys. I'll change that. But water buffalo bone right gauntlet. He offers it to the paddle of turquoise. I think that's one of the I think that's his temple that he belongs to, because that's not the fortress name. But wow. So yeah, pretty worthless, a bone gauntlet on the right. But what we'll do is we will probably set up a little display pedestal and assign that specific item. Yeah, for sure. We definitely don't want to trade it away. That might upset the dwarf a little bit. But, well, we got past that hurdle. Now the next hurdle is to go into the settings and turn the dang audio down a little bit. While I was looking through the thoughts of that dwarf, trying to puzzle out maybe if he needed something other than bones, I noticed he was a little bit unhappy about not having a bedroom. And I was like, that's not right, because we've only got 21 dwarves and more than enough bedrooms. But what occurred to me is, yeah, we actually need to designate these as bedrooms too. I was mistaken. I think in a previous one I said we didn't need to, but I'm remembering now that that is a step we have to take. So let's do that. And actually, I was kind of reminded by the fact that under the zoning button here, there's a specific one for bedrooms. So obvious, yeah, that's something we need to do. But it's not that hard. I don't need to draw it around every single cell. If it starts like this, where you would, but if you go to multi, it can actually detect, rooms with multiple beds will be made into dormitories. So if I just drag it over that, see it says 3 bedrooms are created. So that's actually pretty cool. Let's do that. I wish it would just keep the tool selected though. But yeah, so this should help a bit with their mood. Maybe can I just... Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, let me go ahead and do it. You've seen it. The next step after this is we're going to come down to here and start to place the coffins. We've been lucky. I don't think a single dwarf has died yet, but that could change at any point, and we want to be prepared. Here it is. Oh, the spooky lair where all the bodies will be buried. We can even assign our pets to these things too, I believe. But so on this side, we've just got kind of a communal burial chamber here, mausoleum, something like that, whatever you want to call it. But for the more noble dwarves, one of the things they will demand is their own crypt too while they're alive. They'll want you to build one of these and have it ready, and of course it'll need to be sufficiently decorated. So that's good for now. That's in fact all the coffins I have. I might have them do a few more. As you can see, I did set up a couple of different chambers here, but we'll let them get to that because we need to go back to the surface. Yeah, good. I think it was in the last episode we placed this, but then we didn't really get to the military side of things yet. So let's try and do that now. All right. Yeah, we already saw that. Okay, so we're having them train up on here on the surface to avoid the cave adaptation. What we want to do is, I've forgotten how to do this. Thought there was a way to name the building? No. Huh. Do I need to set up a zone for training? I swear there used to be a way that you could do it just right off of the stand itself. Or, I don't know. That's something I'll have to play with too, because there are literally no options for this. Maybe it needs to be the weapon rack. Maybe that's my mistake, but I'll try and play around with it a little bit. But we really do need to at least start getting a regiment formed and training them, especially here on the surface. Like I said, we don't want them vomiting and stuff because they get exposed to daylight the first time they have to face off against a goblin. Well, I tell you what, those dwarves back at the old mountain homes must have some sort of sixth sense where they can hear us digging out new bedrooms. 'Cause no sooner do I lay out another section of our, residential level, do we get some migrants. And this time I think I caught them soon enough, caught the notification here soon enough that they're still arriving. Let's go ahead and unpause it. We're at 24. So a few might have already slipped in. Did we literally just get like another group of 2 or 3? Oh my god, I think that's literally it. Who knows? Maybe they've adjusted the migrant, wave size, or maybe our fortress just doesn't warrant that big of a population surge. Well, I think a lot of it is just down to randomness, but okay, so 24 it is. Yeah, it's unpaused right now. Let's return here. Well, we can still look. Oh, and by the way, it's a side note. I haven't figured out the military stuff at all yet. I don't even know where I'm going to go about that at. But nonetheless, I realized too, I think I'm jumping the gun a little early because, I mean, with the population of 24, all the dwarves are basically committed to their jobs, even if it's just lugging like stone up here to finish the walls, which is going pretty good too, by the way. But in other words, we're going to hold off on that. I'm not going to set up the military dwarves yet. We will do that, and hopefully, I mean, if not in this fortress, then in a future one, but definitely going to try. Regardless, what we will do is open up the labor page. Yeah, this is kind of what I've been doing to filter through any new people who might be like unassigned important jobs. All right, nobody in that one. Accomplished trapper. Yeah, this is a new person, so he doesn't have any jobs. And I could, oh gosh, I could probably just check that out. Yeah, just by scrolling. So that one right there. No, we need to go back to the labor. Yeah. Look at the hunter. So this guy doesn't have any assigned jobs. Wasn't a big wave again. We've got a clerk too. That's interesting. Huh. I just assigned a new noble to the bookkeeper. I didn't have the bookkeeper. I just had a manager, which was a mistake because now we have much more accurate counts on our stocks. Yeah, you can see we've got exact numbers now, so that's actually really helpful for us. I don't think we want to do any of the other stuff yet. There's the military commander. But yeah, we won't worry about that yet. That's just pointing that out. Let's stay focused here on the labor. Looks like it's just a couple of dwarves. Now, hunter, accomplished trapper, not really interested in doing that. I might just assign this person to be something a bit more mundane. All right, let's see here. Engraving. We do eventually want to start engraving too, but that's really just for beautification purposes, so it's not super important. Huh. Furnace operator, gem. I might actually throw that one of those new people in as a gem cutter. Let's do the trapper. Yeah. He's going to be... I mean, he's got no skill at it, I'm sure, but that's okay. He's going to have to learn. So we'll go down here, unpause it. The other one, I'm just going to leave him without a specialization at the moment. That just means they'll haul stuff around, so it's not a big deal. I was kind of hoping we would get 10 or more so we could get these walls finished at the surface, but regardless, we'll get there. Man, I'm constantly looking at the stockpiles, too, and just seeing how full they are, thinking, God, I need to dig more, but... What I did up here, too, is I've extended our workshop a bit, and for now, I've just added another stoneworker and another carpenter, so we have 2 of each now, because these are just such fundamental buildings that as we get more dwarves, some of them will be carpenters and stonemasons, so it's important for them to be able to do that. And of course, the work orders will be filtered to all the workstations unless we go and specifically change that when we make the order, which is something you can do, of course. As you might have assumed, this game has so many options, so much granularity to it. That is, of course, the appeal, and it might also be some of the turn-off just in terms of its overall learning curve, but it's definitely learnable. Hopefully you guys are learning something now, tuning along here. I am definitely learning as I go. Oh, you know what I've been doing too? I've been trying to find more hematite. I think we struck a small amount of it, but I have no idea where that was. So I've been trying to kind of just scour the walls looking for the hematite. So far, I haven't found any. Take a look at this. All right, I think that the second level is ready. Yeah, there's one piece missing here I'm noticing, but despite all my complaining about small migrations, we got the work done. I tell you, these dwarves are the best, so I definitely want to use the stone. Otherwise, I would do closest material, but then they'll use wood. That's not really what I want to clear the whole like underground of all that extraneous stone, so this really does help. Material-wise, I think it might be irrelevant if you use stone versus like wood. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody down there in the comments who's a veteran Dwarf Fortress player knows of like if you build your walls out of wood, I don't think they can even destroy walls at all. Like I'm pretty sure enemies just don't attack walls, you know. I don't know, I could be wrong, but either way, let's stick with the stone just so we, like I said, clear out that fortress eventually. All right, so I did go up a couple levels with the stairs here. This one I can see I didn't. So obviously we're not mining here. What we're doing is we're going to construct. And in order to do that, we go to our structures. We want construction, stairs. So starting here and going up. I think this is where we ended the other ones for whatever reason. Now this, for me, it's fine to just use the wood here. This for these staircases. All right, but yeah, so they'll build those. We still have access to the second story with the other 3 stairs, so let's start building here. Keeping it paused again, we want to go to constructions, walls, beautiful. Everything's set right, and we're putting it here. Again, it's going to stack on top of the other wall, and we want it here. This is a floor piece. These 2 layers are floors, so the wall goes here. I accidentally right-clicked and deselected the item that I had. There we go. Starting at this point, it's a limit, 31 squares. We will use dolomite. There we go. Right around. Rock salt, okay. And stopping, boom, at the edge of the drawbridge, of course. And then pick it up right on the other side. Now, one thing I want to make sure, because I've had an issue before, if I were to go around and draw this all the way around, in fact, let me just do that to illustrate real quick. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, I've got orders for the entire second level here for walls, except for this little section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off most of it, but I'm going to leave a single block right there. And let's go ahead and just use Sylvite. Boom. So in my experience, it's best to give the dwarves 1, maybe even 2, a couple of open spaces, just so that they can get in and around them. Because some of these dwarves, they're just going to go, instead of staying on the inside, some of them will walk on the outside. Maybe there'll be another dwarf in their way, so they'll just path through that. So in other words, if you were to seal it up, right towards the end, you could get to a position where you've got dwarves on the outside here, and they get blocked off. You know, they're essentially walled out, and they can't get back down. So, and you might not notice it right away, and they might starve to death up there. So it's just, I've found, for expediency's sake, and you know, not having dwarves starve on your walls, make sure you leave one little gap there. And then once you're ready for it, you know, you can pause the game, make sure there's no dwarves on the outside, and just order that single wall piece placed and seal it up. And then we'll get started on the next level 2 up. Like I've mentioned a couple times, we're going to go for 4 or 5 stories on our main fortress, definitely. Oh boy, so unfortunately I made a bit of an error here. Oh yeah, there's water directly above us thanks to the reservoir that I dug out myself, which means we can't dig below it, otherwise the water would leak out. Now, I was actually able to do this because I dug this area out first, then I went back and dug the cistern above it. So the game didn't it let me get by with that. A little bit of a pass there. Almost a bit of a cheat in a way, but now this section is blocked off here. So the hallway essentially stops right here, and there's no way to go around it. No, no, no. So that kind of means at least this particular section I'm going to stop building on. It's not the end of the world, it's going to limit our development a bit, but another thing I could do is just go another level or two lower and set up more, bedrooms down here. That's not a bad idea. Because, of course, the farther we build out to the edges, the dwarves, for example, that might live in a bedroom out here, they have to travel half the day just to get to their job, in the center of the fort. So I might do that. Otherwise, I could just break symmetry and start to develop more, bedrooms over here, but that's ugly. So regardless, they'll just have to go around. This dwarf that lives in these little bedrooms here have a bit of a walk, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Little issues like that, little problems. What I really should have done was thought ahead on this water thing and just left a level below it totally empty. So if I scrolled under, it should have just been completely no building below it. But, those are the kind of little things you learn as you go. Even if you're a veteran like me who just hasn't played in a long time, you forget stuff, as I quite often do. But, we got another notification here. What was it? Let's see, right click. Oh, we got another possession. This one says withdraws from society. Yeah, that's actually the same type of thing. Where's he going? Wait, I lost him already. Let's go to it. Oh, he's claimed the stoneworker shop. Okay. And he's going to get stuff. That's him right there. Yeah. Oh, he's already working secretly. Yeah. So it happened. See, he's not standing here demanding things. So that means, boom, he's working on it right away. Sometimes they're super easy. Sometimes you just won't accomplish them, though. It's a bit of a pain, but we saw in the last episode that we'll get something interesting out of it. Might not be very useful, but then again, maybe it's a left gauntlet to go with the right gauntlet that the last guy made. No, but either way, I am working on glass windows. Actually, we need to make some glass windows. Where are they? Boom. This is an ingredient for a display case. So the window, the window we'll put these legendary things in cases somewhere in the fortress, probably in nobility's bedrooms, but maybe if we have like a library or another meeting hall or something, we'll set one up down there too. Because, you can see the dwarves. This will happen quite a bit, depending on the life of your overall fortress, but it's fun. It's just another cool aspect to the game. So hopefully we'll get to see what he produces, but we're going to save that for the next episode. End things on a bit of a cliffhanger here, I guess, but we've still got so much more to accomplish. Like I mentioned, we haven't even scratched the surface with military yet. So I hope you guys will continue to tune in for the future episodes. And of course, shout out to everybody who's been dropping comments. It really does help with the algo. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.